the Mystical Archive presents. Dear Archive Explorers, today we are opening one of the Mystical Archive's most elusive, most misunderstood, and perhaps most necessary files. The Invisible Force Within, Women of Rare Spiritual Power, and the Alchemy of the Soul. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever met someone whose mere presence changed the energy of a room? Someone who said nothing, yet you felt seen in a way that unsettled you? Someone whose silence spoke louder than 1,000 words? Carl Jung once described certain individuals as living mysteries, beings who carry a power that cannot be taught, measured, or imitated. This power does not belong to the surface of the mind. It originates in the depths of the unconscious, in the realm of archetypes, symbols, and the collective soul. These are not women defined by external beauty, social status, or charisma. They are defined by something far older, far deeper, and far more disruptive: spiritual integrity. Their gaze pierces masks, their silence reveals truth. Their very existence initiates transformation in those around them, whether those people are ready or not. In a world obsessed with image, performance, and control, these women are alchemists of the soul. They do not seek power, they embody it. They do not demand attention, they command presence. And they do not manipulate reality, they reflect it back with such clarity that illusions crumble in their wake. Today, we will explore the archetypal markers of women who carry this rare spiritual force. We will delve into Jungian psychology, ancient feminine archetypes, and the hidden dimensions of intuition, shadow work, and collective unconscious connection. If you are one of these women, this episode will feel like a homecoming. If you know one, this will help you understand why she unsettles you and why that is sacred. Let's step together into the archive of the soul. The gaze beyond the mask, the silent disruptor field. The first and most unmistakable sign of a woman with rare spiritual power is the gaze that sees beyond the mask. This is not ordinary seeing. This is soul vision, the ability to perceive not just the face someone presents to the world, but the fractures in that facade, the unspoken fears beneath it, the buried dreams they've forgotten. When such a woman looks at you, she does not see your resume, your reputation, or your Instagram feed. She sees the gap between who you pretend to be and who you truly are. And that gap, it becomes unbearable in her presence. Jung called the social mask we wear the persona, the constructed identity we show the world to survive, to be accepted, to belong. Most people live entirely within their persona, never questioning it. But women of spiritual depth do not honor the mask, they honor what lies beneath. This creates what can only be described as a silent disruptor field. When she enters a room, even without speaking, the energy shifts. Some people feel immediate peace, others feel exposed, defensive, even hostile. Why? Because her presence is a mirror. Her internal coherence, the alignment of her thoughts, emotions, and values reflects the incoherence of those around her. She is not trying to disrupt, she simply is. And in a world built on pretense, authenticity is the ultimate disruption. Intuition at the edge of prophecy, silent knowing. For these women, intuition is not an occasional whisper, it is a constant inner compass guiding them through the fog of uncertainty. Jung described intuition as perceiving the seed of the future in the present moment. These women sense the turning points in relationships, the hidden motives in conversations, the approaching storms others cannot yet see. This is not magic, it is deep symbolic literacy, the unconscious mind reading patterns, atmospheres, micro-expressions, and energetic signatures that the rational mind dismisses. But here is where it gets strange. Sometimes, their intuition does not arrive as a premonition, it arrives as retroactive knowing. An event unfolds, and in the aftermath, she feels a calm, quiet recognition. I already knew this, not consciously, not in words. But somewhere deeper, the soul had already registered the truth. This form of intuition is not designed to control outcomes. It is designed to understand reality. And because she trusts this inner knowing more than external validation, she can remain extraordinarily calm in the face of chaos. She does not need proof. She does not need everyone else to see what she sees. She knows that truth reveals itself when the time is right. And so, she waits, she watches, she does not force. And when the mask finally falls, she is not surprised, only saddened that it took so long. Transforming pain into wisdom, the wounded healer. Every life contains suffering, but not every soul knows how to metabolize it. Women of rare spiritual power do not run from pain, they descend into it. They turn suffering into an alchemical process, transmuting trauma into wisdom, grief into compassion, betrayal into boundaries. Jung believed that one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. These women do exactly that. They do not bypass their wounds with spiritual platitudes or numb them with distractions. They sit with the darkness until it reveals its gift. In doing so, they embody the archetype of the wounded healer, the one who has been broken and, through conscious inner work, become whole again. Not healed in the sense of never hurt, but healed in the sense of no longer controlled by the wound. Her presence becomes a living reminder. Wounds are not the end, they are the beginning of transformation. When others are in her presence, they feel without words a strange courage, a permission to stop pretending they are fine, a safety to finally admit, I am broken too, and maybe that's okay. This is not empathy in the shallow sense, it is soul-to-soul recognition. She has walked through fire, and so she can hold space for others in theirs. Connection to the collective unconscious, the language of symbols. For most people, dreams are random noise. For women of rare spiritual depth, dreams are messengers from the soul. Jung introduced the concept of the collective unconscious, a deeper layer of the psyche shared by all humanity, containing universal symbols, myths, and archetypes. These women live with one foot in that realm. Their dreams are not just personal, they carry collective themes, warnings, initiations, mythic narratives. A raven in a dream is not just a bird, it is a symbol of death and transformation. A flood is not just water, it is the dissolution of old structures to make way for rebirth. She is a natural translator of symbols. She can help others decode the hidden messages in their dreams, their crises, even their illnesses. She knows that the soul speaks in images, and she has learned to listen. But this gift comes with a cost. Because she is so deeply connected to the collective unconscious, she also feels collective pain, wars, environmental destruction, mass suffering. She absorbs these on a level most people never access. She grieves for a world that does not know it is grieving. This can be isolating, overwhelming, even unbearable at times. But it also makes her a bridge between the visible and invisible, the personal and the universal, the conscious and the unconscious. And, in a world that has severed those connections, she is desperately needed. Emotional weather control, the power of deep silence. In moments of emotional chaos, most people react. These women regulate. When tension rises, they slow down. When others panic, they become still. This creates an invisible, stabilizing effect in their environment. They are emotional anchors, not by absorbing others' pain, but by neutralizing it with their calm. Jung associated this quality with the archetypes of the wise woman and the priestess figures who hold sacred space, who do not need to speak to heal, who embody presence over performance. Their silence is not emptiness, it is fullness. In a world addicted to noise, their silence is radical. It is not born of shyness or fear, it is born of depth. They do not fill the void with chatter because they are comfortable in the void. They know that silence is where truth lives. And so, their silence becomes a mirror. In it, others hear their own unspoken thoughts. In it, the hidden becomes visible. This is why some people find them deeply comforting and others find them deeply unsettling, because in her silence, you are forced to confront what you have been avoiding. Confronting the shadow, the power to end cycles. Most people spend their lives running from their shadow, the rejected, repressed, shameful parts of the self. Women of rare spiritual power do the opposite. They turn toward the shadow. They descend into the darkness not to be consumed, but to retrieve the gold hidden within it. Jung taught that the shadow is not the enemy, it is the teacher. These women know this. They have faced their own jealousy, rage, selfishness, and fear. They have integrated what others deny. And because they have done this inner work, they cannot be easily manipulated. They see through deception because they have already confronted the deceiver within themselves. This inner honesty makes them initiators. Their presence invites others to look at their own shadow, not through accusation, but through reflection. Another mark of their power, they end cycles cleanly. When a relationship, job, or phase of life reaches its natural conclusion, they do not cling. They do not drag it out with drama or endless explanations. They simply release. This is not coldness. It is energetic clarity. They do not remain loyal to versions of people or situations that no longer exist. They do not negotiate with potential. They honor what is, not what could be. Their exits are quiet, but they are final. The unteachable core, catalyst for transformation. The rarest sign of all, the unteachable core. These women listen to advice. They consider perspectives, but nothing reaches their soul unless it passes through their inner authority. They trust their internal compass more than external experts. This makes them emotionally unmanipulable and impossible to control. They will not sacrifice their identity for belonging. They will not conform to gain approval. This is not arrogance, it is self-sovereignty. And because of this, they become catalysts for others. Just by being themselves, they awaken dormant memories in those around them. They trigger buried emotions. They remind people of who they were before the world told them who to be. This is not a power to dominate, it is a power to awaken. Jung wrote, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." These women are the reaction, not because they try to change anyone, but because their presence creates the conditions in which transformation becomes possible. Dear archive explorers, this path is not easy. To be a woman of rare spiritual power is to walk with loneliness, projection, and the weight of truths others refuse to see. It is to be misunderstood, feared, idealized, and rejected sometimes all at once. But it is also a path of deep meaning and service. These women are not here to fit in. They are here to wake others up, not through preaching, but through presence, not through force, but through reflection. They are living reminders that the greatest power is not control, it is coherence, not domination, but authenticity, not performance, but depth. If you recognize yourself in this description, know this: you are not broken, you are not too much, you are not imagining it. You are a living symbol on humanity's journey toward wholeness. And if you know such a woman, honor her. Do not try to tame her, fix her, or reduce her. Let her be the mystery she is. Because in a world that worships the surface, she is a guardian of the depths, and we need her now more than ever. The mystical archive, truth archived, the soul sees what the eyes cannot. Until the next archive entry, may you honor the invisible force within you, and may you walk your path with fierce grace.